Good morning, everyone. Can you see me online? And can you see the PPTs? Yes or no? And meanwhile, in the class, make sure that we follow all COVID-19 protocols. Everyone must have mask, separated by social distancing norms. All right. Any question from our previous discussions? Thanks, Dhruv, for replying. Any question from our previous discussions? So today, we are going to study 8MEGA32 interaction with temperature sensor to begin with, and that will be in a way described in detail in the portion ADC programming, analog to digital conversion programming in AVR. And probably we stop there, and our last topic for our course would be the DAC programming. So we'll study that next week, and next week will be the last week for teaching. So after that, we will go for the discussion of the end semester exam. Right? That is the plan. Any question at this stage on the planning? Now, lab submissions. Yes, question. I need to finish that, right? I think you can do it in one lab. Can you try? The question is, sir, we can't do this, we can't do that. Fine. Can you try? See what happens. Yes, sir. So the question is, okay, are we planning to do the work, or are we planning how not to do the work? Go for that. We'll see what happens at the end. Is it clear or not? Right? So try your best and see what happens at the end. Is it clear? So submissions, right? I want to finish by next Friday, and we want to submit them. That is our last teaching day, as per the schedule. All right. And then we have reading time of the week, and I think the exam dates are on Aureus. Right? Have you checked that or not? Exam dates are there on Aureus. When is the exam? November 6th. It is on which day? Which day? Can you check?
7.
And everyone wants to make sure that we have mask, right? Without exceptions. Yes, we are talking about exam. So you can check on Aureus. It is on which day?
Sir, 7th.
7th, and it is in the morning, right? It should be on campus. What is your question again? Sometimes these are very difficult questions to answer, right? At this stage, you are asking, sir, what is the mode of examination? Examination is conducted by the university exam team. If you have any concern, talk to them. All right. So, come back to our technical discussion. Any question here from our previous talk? Then we go to the relevance of why we want to care about this temperature sensor or any sensor at all. You see, sensors, measurements, etc., are very critical for embedded systems. And we want to understand what is happening in the outside world. Right? For that, we may have sensors that will give us the input in analog form. Right? Sometimes it can be in digital form, 0 and 1. Someone presses the switch. I want to turn on the fan, and you consider that as sensing to the controller. Okay, 1 or 0. There are scenarios where we have temperatures and humidity and pressure all these things, position, right? Distance. Now you don't worry about quantum mechanics. In our real life, we have continuous change in the quantity at our human scale. We can say temperature increases gradually, continuously. At distance can be gradual, continuous. So we have analog quantities, and we want to measure them from embedded system perspective. And then we want to take some action if needed. So this chapter, right, chapter 13 is very critical from embedded system design perspective. That okay, we want to understand the sensors, and sensing and measurement is very essential. I think we have a dedicated course on that. Yes or no? Right. So here we think about measurement sensing from the controllers, microcontrollers viewpoint. We have microcontroller and you want to do some measurements. What is going on inside? The first is our temperature sensor example. That we have analog world. We want to measure something. So we use transducers that will convert the signal into usable form. Temperature. We want transducer there, not just sensor. The way we differentiate sensor and transducer is sensor can be anything that gives us the message of the measured quantity. Our thermometer that we use in home, right? If someone has fever, we can check, and that is a sensor. Now, for electrical purpose, we call a transducer that will give us electrical output because our controller understands electrical output. All right. So we have transducers that will send some signal, and this signal may not be perfect. Consider our case, we need 0 to 5 voltage. Suppose our entire range is in millivolt, for example. What happens? If our range is not linear, what happens? So we have signal conditioning. So we fine tune the signal, that is electrical signal coming out of our transducer, and then eventually send it to A to D conversion, right? Digital conversion. Then we have our data in digital format. Our microprocessor can work on it, take decision. We can write programs and so forth. And ultimately it goes to microcontroller. Right. So here are some scenarios of signal conditioning. Thermocouples provide temperature in form of microvolts. Now, if you have entire range of microvolts, you need to scale it to 0 to 5 volt. We need signal conditioning, and we need to translate that so that controller can understand. PT100, another device, provides temperature in form of resistance. Okay, can we have in voltage form? Some humidity sensors provide result in form of capacitance. So capacitance means suppose we have two parallel plates working as capacitor. Right? The capacitance between them will be dependent on the dielectric constant between two plates, and this dielectric constant can be impacted by humidity. So we measure change in capacitance. We want to translate into the voltage eventually so that controller understands. So we have to change these signals to voltage, and we need ADC. Okay. So here are one example of temperature sensor, LM35, widely used, and this is the temperature range it is used on. The accuracy and output scale 10 millivolt per degree Celsius. So this is the way we'll connect. Right? On the right hand side, we have that sensor, 3 pins, VCC ground and voltage out. And if you want to look at the device, this is another view, say bottom view. Right? So we have 3 leads, and if you connect it to our ATmega32, this is how it goes. Okay, VCC, we have ground, and this is the signal that is going to ADC, analog to digital conversion pin. All right. Yeah, everyone must have the mask on, right? Make sure we follow that strictly. So this is the diagram, and this is the program to do that. Now we'll understand this program in detail, right, in the next section, that is A to D conversion. But the point here is, okay, we have few registers, few ports that makes the register input or output. We have some control registers. We wait for some start of, we give the command of start of conversion, and we will wait for end of the conversion. And this is our program. So in next topic, we will break down all these details. Fine. So this is diagram for temperature sensor. Input is going to ADC 0. Now, where is this ADC 0 pin? Can you check our previous lecture handouts? Where is ADC 0 pin? Which port? Can you quickly check? Everyone online? Can you quickly check? Where are these ADC inputs? Which port? Can you check? Which port? Which port are we talking about here? This is port A. Okay, port A 0th pin. What about others? Port A. So port A has alternate functions, right? And there are many pins dedicated. Port A 0th pin. Thanks, Sarjil. That is correct. Port A pins have alternate functions. One of the functions is receiving analog data for ADC conversion. So now we understand this is the port pin we are talking about. In ADC conversion, these are the port A pins that we are referring to. This is the program. We'll understand this in detail in our this section ADC programming. Right. So do we understand why we need this? How it is related to real life application of embedded system and so forth. All right. For example, the electrical lighting. If you want to make sure that the lighting turns on when we have certain visibility going down, right? When sun is setting, we may have a threshold of light intensity, and that can turn on the light analog input. There are many such examples. So ADC conversion programming. So here are some features of ADC converter. Let us go through them. First is it is a 10-bit ADC conversion. Remember, our registers are 8-bit and in multiple of 8 bits. So this is 10-bit ADC conversion. Point number 1. Point number 2, for B, it says it has 8 analog input channels. These 8 channels are from port. So which port we are talking about here? Port A, right? We have 8 bits. We have 8 analog input channels. 7 differential input channels. Differential means can we have the difference of 2 inputs? It is possible. And 2 differential input channels with the gain. Can we amplify the signal 10 times, 200 times? Answer is yes. That is feature number B. Point C, the converted output, right, binary data is held by 2 special function registers. We call them ADC low and ADC high. Now, because ADC high and ADC low will give us 16 bits, our data is only 10 bits. So what happens to the remaining 6 bits? Out of 16, they are not used. So we need to find out, okay, how we want to adjust our data between ADC high and ADC low. And which 6 bit, either from the lower end of this combination or the higher end of the combination of high and low register 16 bits, we will not be using 6 bits. Point E, we have 3 options of reference voltage. Now this reference voltage is with reference to A to D conversion. Right? What are this? We can have internal 2.56 volt, external point, right? Or analog VCC. So these are three options. And the last point, the conversion time is dictated by the crystal frequency and how you have the multipliers, right? Or divide the frequency, reduce the speed. Very similar to timers. These are few features. And with this, here is the program that will begin with as a reference. So I recommend everyone note this down. This is a good reference program. Reading ADC using polling method. We understand we have polling method. We understand we have interrupt method. So we'll begin with polling method. So let us write this down. And there are few registers we don't understand yet that we'll explore. But this program will give us a reference point for understanding. So everyone in class as well as online, can you write down this program? And let us understand, right? The control registers and so forth. So let us write this down. Now, this is a learning, teaching learning approach, right? So writing down helps. Yes, question. So mask. Are we ready? So let us discuss. We start with include statement and we have main program. Now some declaration for port. Port B and port D are assigned output function. Right? They are used as output. And we need two ports because we have 10-bit data. Right? So default would be 10-bit, right? Unless given in the question, etc. So we say, okay, we need 10 bits to display the output. So port B and D, we assign them output function. Port A assigning it input function because all our input channels are on port A. So first three instructions, any questions? We understand that. The next two, ADC SRA. Okay, it is a control register. So we are going to discuss that in detail. So here we understand that, okay, we have 0 cross 87. That means we are making ADC enable and we are selecting the frequency. So clock by 128. This is similar to our timers, for example. Similar in sense that, okay, we understand this. Then we have AD mux. There is another control register and we are assigning some data there. And with help of that, we have 2.56 volt as a reference volt. We are using ADC 0 single-ended input. We have data that are write justified. Okay, so few things go there. So 2 registers that we need to use for programming. Then we say, okay, while 1, so we are in the continuous loop. The first signal we are sending is start conversion. So after we set all these things, then we start the conversion. And then next is wait for conversion to be completed. That means we have one start bit, we have one flag that will be activated when the conversion is completed. We understand this. If you relate it to a timer programming, what it would be like? Here we have completion of the conversion, or conversion is finished. If you relate to timer programming, what that would be? The flag would be set, right? So once we have that end of conversion, then we say, okay, fine, send the lower bytes to port D and higher bytes to port B. That is our plan, right? Someone may say, okay, we want to do some mathematical manipulation on this. Yes, you can do. Right? Then maybe you want to assign some variable here and so forth. Right? So that we'll discuss, right? Once we understand the details of control registers. All right. So are we ready now for the discussion of control register? Do we have the idea of overall structure? Fine. Everyone, and make sure that we have mask properly covering our face. Right? Someone mentioned, right? There is some spike in the COVID-19 cases, and there are concerns, real concerns. I want to make sure. Yes, now everyone is active. Yes, sir. Right. So you want to make sure that what we can do at our end, we are doing that. Yes or no? Fine. So let us understand those control registers. ADCH, these are our registers. ADCH, that is higher data. ADCL, lower data. Remember 10 bits. Then we have ADCSR, that is what we call ADC control and status register. AD mux, ADC multiplexer, selection register. And we have special function IO register. These are our registers. The first two are very simple, where we are storing the data. ADCH and ADCL. Right? Each of them are 8-bit registers. Suppose you give the command to left justify, this is the way data would be. If you give the command to right justify, this is the way. So combining them, it is 16-bit. Right? And how do you decide if it is left justified or right justified? We have a bit ADLAR. Okay, this is a bit that will decide. Where is that? It is in one of the control registers. We'll see. Right. So now, does it give you a clear picture that okay, where the data are aligned? Okay. So, for example, okay, how we decide this? Someone may say that my data are such that we don't worry about the lower bits, right? Lower bits of the data. Right? In that case, we may go for the left justification. Okay? Left justification. I don't worry about this. Suppose my data are such that I don't need these 2 bits. Right? I can go for right justification. Right? My values are small. My values are small such that okay, I will need only maybe 200 values. I have 10 bits, that is more than 1000 values available to me. But in my programming, in my measurement, I need only say 100 values. Okay, I can accommodate 100 values in this. Right, that can be an application. But I am measuring temperature in such a way that I need only 100. The maximum range is 100 readings. Right? I can simplify here. I don't worry about this in that case. Or I say, I don't worry about the precision, I am worrying about the higher bits. I assign this depending upon our application. And then you can assign any variable to this, and you can use it for any mathematical manipulation if you want, right? So ADLAR bit, control register, AD control and status register. Let us understand them. The first bit, ADC enable. Now this bit enables or disables ADC. Okay. Setting this bit to 1 will enable ADC, okay, and clearing will disable, even while a conversion is in progress. So you want to make sure that you enable ADC conversion. Okay. That is the MSB. Then next is ADSC. Right? Start the conversion. Start the conversion. Then we have few options: ADC auto trigger enable, ADC interrupt flag, right? ADC interrupt enable. So when we use it in the interrupt mode, maybe you want to change this. And we have ADC prescaler. Fine. So ADC start conversion, right? ADCS. Do you observe that in the program or not? So this is our control register. We are sending logic 1 to that. ADC start conversion. And we are waiting for ADIF. 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 This bit is set when ADC conversion completes. And data registers are updated. Which registers we are talking about? Okay, these two registers are updated with the data. And depending upon how we are justifying. Once the new values are there, this flag will set. So if you go back to program, we understand what is happening here in these two lines. Start conversion is a bit. When conversion completes and our registers are ready to use, we have flag. Fine. Good. So let us continue. So this is our register. Now we have prescaling. What is that? So here are the options. Right? Last three bits. If you see, bit 2, 1, and 0 are used for prescaling. Divide the crystal frequency by a certain number. What are they? These are the options. 8 options are there. 2 raised to 3. Clock 0, 0 is reserved. 0, 0, 1 clock by 2, 0, 1, 0 clock by 4, all the way to clock by 126. This is what we are doing. Fine. Okay. So now let us go back to our program and understand this. What are we sending there? 0 cross 87. So let us expand 0 cross 87. So we are sending ADC SRA 0 cross 87. Now if you want to write down this in the binary, it would be what? 1 0 0 0 0 1 1 1. Everyone can see this online as well? Online students. Now we'll put this below our control register so that things are clearer. So here is our control register. Right? Let us see. The first bit is 1, then 0 0 0 0 0 and 0. Then we have another 0, and we have 3 ones. 1 1 and 1. This is the bit pattern. So what is happening? This bit enables the ADC conversion. Fine. We have zeros And then we have this pre-scaling selection. It is 111. That means we are selecting the frequency clock by 128. Good so far. So we understand this control word and our program. And the comment says make ADC enable and select clock by 128. So that is achieved by this line of program. So we thoroughly understand. Right. And we can select any say number, not any, but the number from the list for the division, depending upon last 3 bits. So do we thoroughly understand this? How and what will we change if you want to activate the interrupt? This is polling method, but if you want to go to activate the interrupt, so how we enable the interrupt? What difference will we make in the program if you want to activate the interrupt? This bit, right now it is polling method. So we are looking for the flag, right? If you want to use it in interrupt method, okay, do some modification. Good so far. Now next is AD mux register. Okay, if you go back to program, we have AD mux register where we are telling that okay, we want to have some reference voltage. We want to have okay, which signal is which channel or which input pin is utilized. It is ADC0 single-ended input, and data are right justified or left justified. So these 3 functions are achieved by this AD mux. Let us see the register. Here is our AD mux register. Bit 7 and 6 selects the reference voltage. Reference voltage, 2 bits are dedicated, so we have 4 options. Out of 4, we are using 3. Okay, one is external, right? Here reference pin. Then we have VCC, that is analog VCC, and we can have internal 2.56 volt. The 4th is not used. So we can have any one of these 3 based upon 2 bits. And where are these bits? Here. Fine. Next is, okay, do you want to have left justified or right justified? ADLAR. Yeah, by the way, if there is any phone ringing, can you turn it off? From outside? Can you help? Yes, left justified, right justified. ADLAR. And we have encountered this earlier. ADLAR. If it is 1, left justified. If it is 0, right justified. Now this bit is controlled. So in this case, in our program, what we have done? Our program says right justified. We'll see that combination. And then we have 5 bits, right? MUX4 all the way to 0, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 5 bits that will decide which channel we are taking in input. Which channel? So let us see. What are these channels? So we have first 7 combinations, first 8, 0, 0, 0, all the way to 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. These are all single-ended input, ADC0 to ADC7, that are 8 input pins of port A. So if you want single-ended, means you send 1 signal and the reference is ground. These are the positions of mux bits. Can we compare? Can we have gain, etc.? Yes, and we have these 2 additional bits. Remember, for this we have 0, we have these bits, and this is the list starting from 0 1 0 0 0 all the way to the features we have. And here are examples. We have differential input, so you can have two signals coming and you amplify or deal with the difference of those inputs. So example, okay, if you select 1 0 0 1 0, we have the difference of channel 2 and channel 1 multiply by 1x, that is the same voltage. Right? You can have say 1 1 1 0 0. You are you are making the difference of the input from input pin 4 and 2. You don't amplify it, keep it as it is. Can we amplify? Answer is yes. So here we have difference channel 0 and 1, and okay, here is no amplification, but here okay, channel 3 and 2 amplified by 200 times. Similarly, we can have different things. So here we decide we have 8 inputs standalone. We can have combinations of them. We can have combinations and amplification. Fine. So that is our ADMUX register. And here again, this is the internal diagram that what is happening. We have this pin coming in, and we have this say MUX decoder circuit. It will ultimately send through the gain selector to our final input. This is what is happening. And we have one special function register as well. So now if we go back to our program, let us understand. The ADMUX is 0 cross C0. Let us explore that 0 cross C0. So 0 cross C0, how will you write down in binary? 0 cross C0. It will be what? 1 and yeah, let us see. It is claiming that we have 2.5 volt as reference volt, ADC single-ended input, and right justification. Do we achieve with this or not? Let us go back to the register. And we have 8 bits. Let us see. 1 here, 1, and all the others are zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. The first two, 1, 1. What that means? Internal 2.56 volt. Right? Then we have 0 here. What that means? It is defining justification. All right. In this case, if it is 0, it is right justified. Right? If this bit is either the if you write 1 to this, the result will be left justified, otherwise it is right justified. We are writing 0, right justified. And we have 5 bits dedicated to assign the channels, etc. So we are selecting all zeros. So what that means? ADC on pin number 0. This is what we are selecting. Yes or no? So these are the steps. So any question? Do you understand that control registers as well? Okay. Second control register. These are the steps. So let us go through the steps. Like our timer programming, our interrupt programming, etc. Okay, we have a few steps. Any questions? So there is some comment here. Let us check. There is attendance. Okay. attendance. Fine. So steps, right? Step number 1, make the pin for the selected ADC channel as input pin. So we are dealing with the port A pins. You can make all pins input if we are not using it for other purpose, or you use it for the, or you make the selected pin as input. Step 2, turn on the ADC module of AVR because it is disabled upon power on. So you know that there is one bit that will turn on the ADC feature. Step 3, select the conversion speed. Right? We use 3 bits, right, to select the conversion speed in one of the control registers. Step number 4, select the voltage reference. Right? We use 2 bits in one of the control registers. Right? To select the reference voltage, and we want to have the ADC input channel. There are 5 bits in ADMUX register to define that. All right. Step number 5, activate the start conversion bit by writing 1 to this. Once we start conversion, wait. So step number 6 says wait for the conversion to be completed by polling method if it is. If it is interrupt, you want to activate the interrupt. Point 7, after you sense the end of conversion, that is ADIF bit has gone high, read the values from the dedicated register, that is ADL and ADH. Notice that you have to read ADCL first before, and then you want to read the ADCH, that is the higher byte. Otherwise, you may not have the right result. Fine. Next is if you want to read the selected channel again, go back to step 5. If you want to select another V reference, go back to step 4 and so forth. So these are the steps. And with these steps, right, now we understand if you want to take the data from the temperature sensor, what is needed. So this is say example of using ADC in polling method to get the data. Do you understand this program or not? What can be some different combinations? How you justify? Left or right? That can be one difference. Right? It depends upon your application. And someone may say, I want to use all 10 bits, that is fine. And you need to make sure that your program is appropriate. What else? You can decide which channel to give the input. Yes or no? You can decide which gain and so forth. So this is our reference program. Now, do we understand this thoroughly or not? Okay. Now, like timer, we did not worry about clearing the flag because it will be done when we start the conversion again. Okay. When you start the conversion again, it will take care of the flag. So some difference, right, in terms of concept, but the overall procedure is very similar. So if you have understood all the steps so far, I think this is another feature that we are using. Yes or no? If you want to use interrupt, then what to do? So here are the scenarios, right? Now for interrupt, these are our priorities and the locations, right? Remember, you have reset external interrupt, you are expert of all these things by this time. And here is another interrupt, ADC conversion complete. So this is the ROM location where you will jump. All right. So this is the interrupt we are talking about. If you want to use this, this would be the program. Now, what are some of the differences? The first thing is, okay, we want to have both the header files, interrupt as well as IO files included. We need to have interrupt subroutine. In this case, it is ADC vector. In interrupt subroutine, when we go to the subroutine, when we have flag. When flag is activated, when we complete the conversion. Right? So when we complete the conversion, we have the values in the register. So we say, okay, first thing is, okay, get the values. And in this program, we are just displaying. You may assign it to any variable and you may do some mathematical manipulation. Right? And based upon that, you can take some action. That is possible. All right. So in the interrupt subroutine, you can have a few other things. This is simplified version. And then you want to start the conversion again. And what is the main program? Here it is. First 3 lines, we understand. Then what is ACI? Yeah, I want to put the mask properly. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. We are studying interrupt, by the way. And I will be, yeah, asking you to make sure that we follow the precautions. Right? Very essential. Coming back here, yes, first 3. And what is SEI here? The fourth instruction in main program, SEI. The global interrupt. Right? The global interrupt. And we have understood this. And then we have this 2. Now, ADMUX is very similar to what we discussed last time. Here there is a change. It was, what was here? Now it is 8F. So 878F. So if you write down 8F, it would be 10001111. All right. So, okay, compared to the previous one, this is the bit that is different. Let us go to that bit. This is our control register. Let's go back to that bit, what it is. All right. So, Harshil, 1 minute. Let us discuss and then we'll get back to you. So, now we have this bit, that is bit number 4, ADC interrupt flag. Okay, 0, 1, 2. This is the 4th, so ADC interrupt enable. Setting this bit, right, will activate the interrupt. So bit number 3. Now we cannot see because of the top bar. And let us, yeah. Can we put these things aside a little bit? All right. So now I think we can see. Where is that register? 1 minute. This is ADMUX. Here it is. So the 4th bit, it is interrupt enable. This is the bit that is different, right, compared to previous question. So is it clearly visible? So we understand where we are making the change. All right. Now there is some question online. What is the question? Someone raised the hand. Say it again. So what was the question? There was interrupt flag raised. That, hold on, professor, participants. Okay, now we can talk about, this is the position of the bits. Yes, there was some hand raised. The interrupt is gone. So somehow we disable that interrupt. It was just a flag. Okay. Somehow by accident the flag was set. Somehow we clear that flag. So yeah, if there's any question, we can definitely discuss. Okay. Now we understand. Yeah, compared to our previous program, there is only one change, and that is the interrupt enable. Right. So we come back to our program. Yes, here it is. Right, rest of the things are very similar. Now we have while 1 here. Now observe this. If this is sample program for interrupt, and you can do some other thing as well. Let us say port C is free. Port C, we can get some number from port C, add something, send it back. Just an example. In that case, while one, and it will have some loop here, some instruction added to it. That can be variation. Do we understand what I'm talking? If you want to do more than one thing, right, where it will fit? In while one loop, we are continuously maybe getting data from port C, adding something, sending back to port C if you want, and so forth. Or maybe take some action based upon that. Okay? So all those things will go here. So this is the interrupt way of doing things. Is this clear? Which one? This one. So, okay, this is ADC-SC bit. Let us go to ADC-SRA. Okay. Which bit we are talking about? ADC, ADSC. Right, ADSC. ADSC bit. Right, in our control register is ADC-SRA. So let us go back. ADC-SRA. All right. So where is that bit? 1 minute. It is bit number 6. ADSC. Yeah, it will start conversion. Why it is 2 times in the program? Okay. Let us go back to the program. Here it is. All right. So this is our first program, main. How the execution will happen? We go to the main program. Right. Start conversion and leave it as it is. Interrupt will take care of it. All right. So here, this is part of main program. We start conversion. When interrupt happens, we go to this subroutine. Right. Either we say, okay, we don't want to continue. Right. Or we may say, okay, we want to do it continuously. So in our interrupt subroutine, we start conversion again. After getting the data from those 2 registers. If you don't do this, it is one-time execution. Otherwise, controller is just doing nothing while one. Right? By doing this, okay, in the foreground, it is doing nothing, but in the background, it is doing this conversion. Right? And you can write another program in the foreground also, get data from port C, do some manipulation, send it to port C or something else. Right? You can take some decision. So the main program has, okay, let us start the conversion. Right? And it will stop once we have the interrupt. Right? It will stop conversion. Once we read the data from the register, we say, okay, let us start conversion again. So it is a continuous process. So it is 2 times, one time in the main program, another time in the interrupt subroutine. So does it answer your question? Fine. Any other question? Let us see online. We have few comments. Attendance. All right. Any other question? We want to understand both the methods, the polling method and interrupt method. Do we understand this? Fine. And we come back to a temperature sensor example. That okay, we are sensing temperature. We have a sensor. It is an analog sensor, right? That means we need to send the data to do conversion. It is relevant. Now, many of you are using Arduino. Yes or no? Arduino has analog input pins. This is what is happening in the background. So here you know that, okay, what is happening. And by the way, Arduino uses the higher versions of AVR controllers. Okay? Arduino uses the higher versions of AVR controller. So what is happening inside? Okay, these are the things happening inside through the functions. And many of you may choose in 7th semester Internet of Things. That is another course I am teaching. There we explore Arduino in detail with many of these features. So you will understand, okay, what is happening inside. Right? And then we systematically study the Arduinos. Right? I think in this semester, we are just using it for some project, right? For some special functions. Right? In Internet of Things, we study it completely. Many of the features of Arduino. But at that time, all your learnings here would be directly related. Fine. That is what is happening inside. Now you understand the microcontroller. So we have interrupt priorities that we know. We understand the conversion, and this can be a question, right? Write AVRC program for ADC conversion with the following details. Use differential input between ADC3 and ADC2 with gain of 200. How to do this? We have 5 bits, right, where we can select. Use frequency equal to clock by 16. Do you know how to do this? Fine. Use AVCC as reference. We understand which bits to target. Display the data to port B, that is upper byte, and port D, the lower bytes. And use polling method to execute this program. Right. This is one variation of program. And there can be many more. Any questions at this stage? So we complete our ADC programming. We'll stop here. Next time when we'll meet, that will be the last lecture for our semester. And DSC is very small topic. Very small topic, and it has real life relevance. We'll discuss that, complete this DSC programming, and we'll have quick discussion on the end semester exam paper. Right? We are not going to debate whether it is online or offline. Not relevant for this course. Right? It is the decision, right, by the exam committee. So we are going to discuss about, okay, how can you prepare well, right, and so forth. Is this clear or not? Any last question before we conclude? Any question online before we conclude today? No questions. No questions. All right, then we'll see you next time. Make sure we work on completion of our submissions, right, and try to complete as many submissions as you can as early, so that you can be free for preparing for exam. With that, let us conclude our discussion. Thank you, everyone.